sometimes we tend to be romantic and to revive the past, and I tell myself and my colleagues that we cannot repeat history as Jack was telling us, but we can learn from history, maybe something. So I want to share with you a little bit. I sent this file to all of you through the email a few days ago, and you have it. So the book sharing project is a case study for effective global learning programs in the future. And it was about the Holocaust, but I'm not talking only about the Holocaust. I'm talking about any other social issues, moral issues, things that we can do together based on reading together, like in the early childhood program that we mentioned yesterday. So this search is for a meaningful global discourse is based on the idea that in our global reality, issues of ethics, humanistic and democratic values, critical environmental problems, universal solidarity about food, water shortage and health are essentially cross-border issues and should be in the core of global education programs. The one here is talking about sustainability. Yes. Yeah, so this is also something that we may deal with. People from different countries, cultures and faith should be engaged in a global discussion of the essence of humanity and its horizons in the age of nuclear bomb and the memories of the horrors of the 20th century, including two world wars, the Holocaust of the Jewish people, and other cases of genocide and destruction that happened in the 20th century. And I'm not talking only about the Holocaust at all. The presentation wants to withdraw insights from the experience of the previous program that was developed and ran by the Ghetto Fighters House Holocaust Museum in Israel from 1997, when I joined the museum and started it, until about 2010, and engaged thousands of high school students and teachers from Israel and the US. We had one case of school in Canada, in Toronto. He joined literature and reading and historical study about the human experience during the Holocaust. The program was from its inception a pedagogical success and grew rapidly to a huge network of about 80 schools. We had 40 Israeli schools and 40 American schools, but at the end collapsed into success because of unsolved issues of management, high cost, insufficient e-learning knowledge, for example, how you process the book together, as I mentioned yesterday, and difficulties to offer proper teacher training to schools in so many remote locations. I started to fly from one school to another, and my colleagues flew from one school to another, but how you can do it with 40 and growing program like 40 schools like that. We believe that this educational endeavor, probably the largest we had in Israel until now, can serve as a case study for future programs that aim to create global learning and humanistic discourse. I don't know of any other such a huge program of e-learning in Israel. In 1999 or 2000, I came to Ronin Research Department and suggested to Rachel Nof the idea that Ronin will make the evaluation and research program parallel to this huge program, and then said to me, e-learning, what you're talking about, don't know about something like that, so maybe this is the time to do something about it. So what was the book sharing project, the BSP from now on? The book sharing project started with junior high school program called Children of the World Learn About Children. So this is ילדי העולם לומדים על ילדים, and learn about children has double meaning in it. Learn about children in other places and learn about children in different times. And it was based on the joint reading of the books of the Israeli author Uri Orler, who deal with the life of children during the Holocaust. The first book later on became a wonderful movie by a Swedish, I think, director, The Island on Bird Street, and then The Sun Game, which is part of an autobiography, and the Ghetto Fighters House translated it into English. How it worked. First, the students exchanged letters of personal introduction and learned about one another, and then read the books. I mentioned yesterday, especially it was a very defined phase. We want to learn about you, so write about yourself and send me some kind of a personal introduction. And then there was a whole discussion what I put in 1 page or 2 pages, not longer, about myself. How I introduce myself to a kid in New York, in New Jersey, in Florida, in Los Angeles, in Detroit, in Akron, Ohio, where we had schools, in Louisville, Kentucky, and in other places. And then read the books in Hebrew in Israel and in English in American schools. We selected only books that were both in English and Hebrew, and wrote reading journals. We learned about a new concept of a reading journal. We had a lot of theoretical background to it. What is a reading journal? How you process a book. We know how we do it locally. Now we learn how to do it internationally. Wrote reading journal, discuss online the responses to the book, and created final study projects. Final study project could be text, could be artwork, could be music, and in the end we usually try to put a beautiful exhibition of the works from the American side and the Israeli side, and sometimes people ask me how we send it over. And I said, I don't care, you can use email, you can use a camera, but you can use snail mail, just send it over, but at the end, we had a beautiful exhibition of joint works by children from both sides. So the Ghetto Fighters House paired the schools and supplied the teachers with basic training and teacher guide. We have teacher guides in English and in Hebrew. The whole education process took between 1 month to 4 or 5 months, depending on the needs and the limitations of the school involved. For example, American schools were more short time programs. We wanted to be 1 month, no more, because we had access to the computers lab only for 1 month, and then another class gets the lab. And the Israeli teachers were a little bit more casual. It can be 3 months. If it's not enough, we will have another month, another month. So there was all the time an intercultural dialogue, in intercultural school, inter-school culture dialogue. What is best for us here and what is best for us there. And so it took a little bit longer sometimes. The timing was all the time a hot issue. For example, if the school decided, in any diet of schools, we start on the 1st of November. Usually the Israelis said, okay, the 1st of November can be a week later or a week earlier. But the Americans said, no, we got the key to the lab only on the 1st of November, and we have to turn it over on the 1st of November. You have to publish it before, so everybody will know. No. It was sometimes very tense time about the timing. But it is very important, because the time was a major issue in this program, and it is a major issue, we mentioned it before, in any online program. So the space becomes virtual, and the time becomes virtual. We mentioned before that a semester can be in different time settings. But we have to be responsible to what we're doing. For following the initial success of the GFA, we created a second program. I don't know if you know how to run a program, but the first year you have 1 pair of schools. The second year you have 3 pair of schools. The third year you have 12 pair of schools. And in a dry field, again and again. So I suggested that we will have a second program for senior high schools with similar methodologies, but different name and different content. The name was We Are Human, based on the reading of Night of Elie Wiesel and The Sunflower by Gusenthal. The Sunflower at that time was available only in English, now it was already translated into Hebrew, Hachmaniya, but these books became the basic tools of work in older ages. And how you manage this chaotic network of 80 schools working together? So then I came up with another idea. So to help manage the whole project, the Fatisam had created an online school named Janusz Korczak International School, with school lobby, teachers' rooms, classes, history lab, art gallery, and more. It was a bilingual school, and one could switch from English to Hebrew at any point in the school. That click, you move from Hebrew to English, and vice versa. The school was built by a leading Israeli education technology company, Matach, and it was on the international internet until about 2 years ago. Why they put it down, I don't know, but it is lost now. But I insisted that we are speaking not about a website and pages, but we use metaphor. School lobby, library, history lab, classes, and it was everything was available, any book. We had there, for example, full history texts. We had the testimonies. We had I put on a whole history textbook and translated from Hebrew to English. And so it was available in 2 languages. But after 10 years of operation, the program became too heavy for the Ghetto Fighters House, who struggles with financial issues, because of its financial difficulties, and it left the project, which continued under the operational lead of the American friend of the Ghetto Fighters House until about a year ago. There are few branches still going on, and the lady that ran this program until a year ago, we wished she could come here, but unfortunately she was lost her house in the flood in Colorado a few days ago. Lama Bernhardt, which was my assistant at the Ghetto Fighters House, my partner at the Ghetto Fighters House, and then moved to Colorado and continued to run this program here in the United States until about a year ago. So why it was successful? Don't worry, I'll also mention why it failed. Why it was successful? It was based on a meaningful story, and it was interesting and meaningful for both teachers and students. This is the key issue. There is a false belief among people that if you put people online, they start to discuss stuff. You put a form on a school's website, and it will be active. Wrong. Most of the forms at the internet are dead skeletons. They are empty. Because they don't have a proper drive to do something in those forms, in those meeting places or common spaces. So once you have a meaningful story or a meaningful question or a meaningful issue to deal with, then you have the key to success. But if you don't have that, don't bother with all of it. Reading literature in a dialogical way proved to be a powerful educational methodology. A wide range of academic literature support the idea that joint literature reading can be an effective educational way to engage students and empower their identity. Just a year ago, one of our colleagues at Oronim discovered this issue, Yael Boyas, with the idea that reading literature together can be a powerful school. In 1997, 1998, it was an ongoing issue at that program. Technology was available to connect schools from different parts of the world. Teachers and students from faraway locations could work together into an interesting challenge. Wow, we can speak with others all over the internet. We didn't have Skype yet. It was just email and some kind of working in a www environment, but it worked. All the teachers involved got a few hours of training, understanding the aims of the program and learning its content and methodology. We insisted, without any compromise, that we are not going to work with a school who do not offer his teachers and staff some kind of training. How we do it, what we are doing, why we are doing it, what are the challenges, the problems that you are going to face. And it wasn't easier for us to do it at the Ghetto Fighters House. Sometimes we went to the Western Galilee Computer Labs to Western Galilee College to work there, because they had the computers the Ghetto Fighters House didn't have. But how you go from one American school to another, it was an unbelievable challenge. And after that, we tried to train American trainers, people who will help us, who will be our Red Orchestra underground here in the United States. And it was just at the beginning to develop it, and then everything, like the Twin Towers, collapsed. All the excellent guidance of the GFH educational staff, I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about the staff of the education department of the Ghetto Fighters House, and especially the Children's Museum at the Ghetto Fighters House called Young Lemire. They dealt with the literature reading, they selected the text, they did with all the pedagogical issues of the program, and it was very, very important. But why it collapsed? These are the reasons I could define. No clear operational paradigm. How we finance such a program when the Israeli government ignores it? Any school involved had to pay a certain fee to join in. It always was a struggle, what is enough and what is the possibility of the school to pay for it. And how we finance these international flights again and again and again. And too many people worked to operate the program, so it was too costly at the end. This was the main reason the Ghetto Fighters House said, I'm drowning, I cannot handle it anymore. No clear pedagogical management paradigm. How we operate an online school with about 40 international groups working simultaneously. A real chaos, nightmare. I can remember that don't start all of them on the same day. Maybe that would be the solution, and end of them on the same day, because one group worked for 1 month, other group for 3 months. One started in November, other started in December, other started in January. How you lead it? How you have a sense of control of what is going on? No clear e-education paradigm. How we lead online discussion, in your question, it's in a meaningful way, and joint learning processes. For example, do we have, as I mentioned, to early childhood education team, do we have 3 classes working together, or do we have 1 class of students from different parts? How we process a book together. In few cases, students in Israel worked on their side, in their classroom. Students in America worked on their side. And then they only exchange the results, like show and tell. But we try to develop something that it will be a joint work. And it's not being just exchange of results of work, of parallel work, but a joint stuff.
Yeah, the process.
The
You
process,
wanted the process, but you got the results.
yeah, and we want a joint process, and we want also a joint one product that will be created for 10 products, but that by 2 American students and 2 Israeli students doing it together. And we couldn't manage it. In certain cases, it was wonderful, but it happened rarely. At the end of the program, online program, the students from one side actually flew to visit their partners at the other side. Actually, in most cases, it was American students traveled to Israel to meet their virtual partners in an virtual environment, but we had 2 or 3 cases of Tel Aviv schools that their parents could afford it, flying to the other side. But I remember very clearly, I think Akron students coming to Akron and sitting together, Akron Ohio students and Akron Galilee students sitting together, Akron. So, how we lead online discussions, and we still, this is something that until now, or NIM missed a huge opportunity until now to develop a proper pedagogy to deal with these questions. I offered them a treasure and they scared away. But maybe now we are ready to it. No clear idea how we reach any school in the network and give proper training to its teachers. Can we fly to any place? It's nice, but sometimes at the end it's very tiring and costly. Can we create online training? We were not prepared yet to do that. Can we create a network of local educators who can provide training locally? Marilyn, you were part of this network of supporters that Dr. Kershaw started to develop, or I think so.
We here, Adele did it, Rita was involved, we're still doing it.
Okay.
And Lynn is coming here at the end of the month.
Okay.
So, yeah, we weren't willing to give it up.
So, to sum up my introduction, then I will open the stage for discussion. What are the elements that we can take from the Moshe project for our future work? The first, technology is just a tool. A good and solid program starts with a powerful topic and a good story. If you don't have a good story, you don't get it. Joint reading and dialogical teaching can be an effective way to connect students from different countries and cultures. But what are the operational questions we have? And first of all, what are the topics we want to deal with in such global learning communities? We are saying that not only the Holocaust is involved. What are the books or texts in other mediums? Something I said yesterday in the morning, a symposium we choose for our joint programs. Do we have one text to discuss, or do we have only joint questions? With one question we share, but we offer different texts to answer the one question. Sometimes we can have a meaningful dialogue around one text, but sometimes we can have a meaningful dialogue with different texts around one shared question. What is the program narrative we create? Timing, stages, balance, everything there. Balance between local and the literal online work. How we imagine the flow of work. It's a Hungarian word representing yesterday very clear and defined narrative, how it will work. And this is a very important stage. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm sure it will work, but if you don't have a clear narrative from the very beginning, then you are in trouble. What is the narrative? When we start, what we are doing, first stage, second stage, third stage, and so on. How we lead the effective online learning communities, how we moderate online discussions. In our name, we do very little about moderating discussions offline. Sitting in circles. How we lead a circle class. We know how to lead a discussion of students sitting in rows. That the only communication is student, teacher, student, teacher, student, teacher. But how you lead a learning process which you have to moderate a circle or few circles. And our teacher students get very little training of it. So what we do when we are going from the local sphere to the international sphere, are we leading? There are thousands of articles over the internet dealing with this new question, new challenge, pedagogical challenge, how you lead an effective online learning community. Are you start it, are you lead it, are you close it, and so on. Our students from different places create together learning projects. As I said before, how we train our teachers to lead such a program. You just in the beginning, it's all in about it. I'm not sure about what is going here in Walsh, in my state, and other places. What is the financial operative model we need? Can we sustain such a global network? We have wonderful ideas, but are they sustainable? So, what do we do about it within the GLP? This is not only a theoretical discussion, we mean business. That's our next session. And we want to make it part of the academic program that we operate within our institutions and together with our GLP partners who join in and want to develop such a global online e-learning program that the question is sent to all of us. Okay?
Thank you, Moshe. Thank you very much. This segues perfectly into where we want to be.